Hi, and welcome back to our SolidWorks beginner course. Today we continue step by step, right now. In this video, we start working with the Features tab in SolidWorks and see what it is used for. This tab is where we take the 2D sketches we drew before and turn them into 3D geometry. So we use the tools inside Features to add depth, create solids, and shape the part. On this side, you can see tools that create new geometry and add material to your sketch. They build features in different ways, depending on the shape and the option you choose. And the tools on the other side do the opposite. They remove material from the existing solid. For example, here we have Extruded Boss, and here we have Extruded Cut. There are several other feature tools here as well, and we will learn them one by one. You also see some helper settings, and we will use each of them during the exercises. Let's start with a simple example. Create a sketch and draw a rectangle. Now we want to convert this rectangle into a rectangular block using an Extrude feature. Go to the Features tab, then click Extruded Boss. A new panel opens on the left, and an arrow appears on the sketch showing the direction. Hold left-click and drag the arrow. This is how you preview the thickness interactively. Good. Now let's work with the settings in the left panel. You will see several options here. I'll explain the important ones as we use them. First, focus on Direction 1. This is the main direction for the extrusion. Here you choose how the extrusion grows, and you control the main depth value. If you click this button, SolidWorks flips the direction to the other side of the sketch. So the thickness can go this way, or it can go the opposite way, depending on your need. For the end condition, keep it on blind for now, and we will test other modes later. In this box, you can enter the extrusion depth for the rectangle. For example, I will set the depth to 100 millimeters and keep it simple. This option is Draft. It lets you add a small angle to the side walls. Turn Draft on. Then you can enter the draft angle value right here. Right now it is making an inward draft of 14 degrees, like a taper. Click this to reverse the draft and flip the taper. For now, turn Draft off again. Next, let's look at Direction 2. Direction 2 adds a second extrusion in the other direction, so you can grow both sides. Direction 2 can also have its own end condition and draft. We'll use those options later. For now, we keep it simple. Click OK. SolidWorks creates the extrusion, and you get the final block. Great. SolidWorks created a clean rectangular solid for us. Using Extruded Boss from the sketch, use the mouse wheel and drag to rotate, and inspect the solid from different angles. This helps you see the shape and sketch location. If you want to edit this extrusion, click the feature and choose Edit Feature. Edit Sketch edits the rectangle. To change the extrusion settings, choose Edit Feature. Now you can change the end condition, depth, and other options of this extrude. All right. Now let's continue and explore the next setting. Let me explain mid-plane. It is one of the most useful extrusion options. With mid-plane, SolidWorks extrudes equally in both directions, centered on the sketch plane. We use mid-plane a lot because it keeps the feature symmetric around the sketch. You will see it many times in the exercises, and it will make more sense with practice. For now, keep the end condition on blind, and click OK to accept the feature. Now, on any face of this solid, you can start a new sketch and create more geometry. For example, click this face to select it. Then click Sketch, and SolidWorks takes you into the sketch environment on that face. You can also select the face first, then choose Sketch from the shortcut menu. SolidWorks rotates the view normal to the face, so it becomes easy to draw accurately. Sometimes you rotate the model in 3D, and then you want to return normal to the sketch again. In that case, you can quickly snap the view perpendicular to the sketch plane. One shortcut is Ctrl+8, which brings the view back to normal to. Another way is to click the normal to command from the view toolbar. If you don't see normal to, you can add it to your toolbar so it's always available. Right-click the toolbar, choose Customize, and search for normal to in the commands. Then drag the normal to icon and drop it on your toolbar, right where you want it. If you ever want to remove it, just drag it off the toolbar and release it. Now let's create another extrusion. We want to give this sketch a thickness again. Go to Features. Click Extruded Boss again, so we can extrude this sketch and add thickness. By default, the preview extrudes in this direction, as you can see. Flip the direction if you need. Then set the depth to 20 millimeters and watch the preview update. If Merge Result is enabled, SolidWorks merges everything into one single solid body. But if you disable Merge Result, the new extrusion becomes a separate body. Let's compare them quickly so you see the difference clearly. With Merge Result on, the geometry is unified, and you still have one body. With Merge Result off, SolidWorks creates two separate solids that do not merge. For now, keep Merge Result enabled, because we want one clean solid. Next, let's create a circle sketch on this face. Draw a circle like this, then exit the sketch. Keep it for a moment. We will create a few more shapes, so we can demonstrate different extrusion end conditions. So let's create another sketch and another extrusion, just to have more reference faces for the next examples. We want to give this new sketch some thickness and build another feature. And we will also create one more extrusion on this side, to have multiple faces to test. Flip the direction and set the thickness to 20 millimeters for this one as well. Now, come back to the circle sketch we created earlier. You can select it directly in the graphics area, or you can select it from the Feature Manager tree. Now go to Extruded Boss again, and let's try the other end condition options. If you set it to Through All, it extrudes through the entire part until it passes everything. Now let's edit the feature again, so we can test the next options. Up to Next extrudes until it hits the first face or surface in that direction. So it stops as soon as it reaches the next boundary in front of the sketch. Up to Vertex is different. Here you must choose a specific corner point. For example, pick this corner as the target vertex. Then the extrusion ends exactly at this point. Or you can choose a different vertex, depending on where you want the extrusion to stop. You can see the feature ends exactly at the selected vertex point. So that's the idea of Up to Vertex. It stops at a chosen point. Up to Surface lets you choose a face as the end limit for the extrusion. Pick this face, and SolidWorks extends the feature until it reaches that surface. Click OK to confirm, and you can see the final result on the model. You can also edit again and select another face to change where it ends. Now let's look at Offset from Surface, which works together with Up to Surface. After you select a face, Offset from Surface adds a gap before reaching that face. So here you can type the offset distance value. For example, 30 millimeters means the feature stops 30 millimeters before the selected face. You can increase the offset, and this button flips the offset direction. Now it stops 30 millimeters on the other side, relative to that same face. Another option is Up to Body. Let's see how that one works. To use up to body, you must have multiple bodies, so merge result must be disabled. Right now, we have one merged body, so we cannot use up to body yet. So we edit this extrusion, uncheck merge result, and create a second separate body. Now we have two separate bodies in the part. One is the main solid, and one is the new feature. Edit the extrusion again, and choose up to body as the end condition. You will see one body highlighted in green, and you choose the other body as the target. Now the extrusion will grow until it touches that target body, and then it stops. Okay, I'll delete this extra body, because we only needed it for demonstration. Now we've covered the end conditions. Next, let's explain the from option. If you open from, you can start the extrusion from a different face or plane. So you must select a start face or a reference plane before extruding. For example, select this face, and now the extrusion will start from this face. Now keep the end condition on blind for simplicity. Then you can clearly see where the extrusion starts. You can see the extrusion begins from the selected start face, not from the sketch plane. Now I'll clear that selection, so we can try another example. Select another face, and you can start the extrusion from that face instead. Just keep one important point in mind. It will prevent errors when you choose the start face. The start face you choose must be aligned with the direction of your sketch. So you cannot pick a face that is not in the same direction as the sketch. But you can choose these faces because they are aligned with the sketch direction. This face does not work because it is not aligned. From vertex is similar. You simply pick a point as the start reference. Pick a vertex, and the extrusion starts from that point location. Or choose another point and start extruding from there instead, depending on the design you need. Next is offset. This starts the extrusion with a fixed offset distance. Set the offset value here. For example, 10 millimeters away from the sketch plane. Then you can increase the offset and also set the extrusion thickness as usual. Alright, we tested all the options in this section, so now you understand what each setting does. So now you know the main settings available inside Extruded Boss. In the next lesson, we will work with Revolved Boss and a few other feature tools. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. See you in the next tutorial. Goodbye.